Hey, it's B-Rad Celebrity Hairstylist here, your host of the Hairstylist Empowerment Podcast. Today we have an exciting guest, Michelle Golden. Michelle is not only an entrepreneur, a wife, a mother of an almost 15-year-old. Imagine having a job, having a home, having a 15-year-old, having all kinds of stuff go on in your life. Be an entrepreneur, be a salon owner, and that's just a short list of all the stuff that Michelle does. So later in the interview, you're going to find out so much more, so stay tuned. Say hi to everyone.
Hello, how are you?
So Michelle, this is your first time on a podcast, correct?
It is, yes.
Wow, so it must be exciting for you.
I am very excited.
Yeah, so it's different. And Michelle is one of those people that I saw on Facebook and I kind of always wanted to get to know, because there's always the people you see that are like a mini celebrity. They always comment, they always post, you always see their stuff and you're thinking, wow, I'd really like to meet that person. So now I get the privilege of meeting the Michelle Golden here today. So I want to say thank you, Michelle, for joining us here on the Hairstylist Podcast. So we're going to jump in by having you tell a little bit about your story to our audience.
Yeah, sure. So I have been a hairstylist since 2007. I was working in Ames, Iowa, which is about 30 minutes north of where I'm currently working at. I was there for exactly 11 years, or well, just over 11 years. And I have recently moved to Ankeny, Iowa, where I'm renting a salon suite. And the salon suites didn't necessarily become very popular until about probably 3 to 5 years ago over here. They were really popular like West Coast, East Coast, and they've slowly been coming to the central part of the United States. So yeah, I've been here exactly a month and I absolutely love it. It's more one-on-one with the client and I love just the peace and quiet of it, and I can actually connect better with my clients. So.
Wow. So there must be, that must be like an amazing change, especially only being there a month. What made you think, okay, I'm working at behind a chair somewhere else?
Yep.
Then what made your brain think I should go into a salon suite?
Yeah. So I've only been on my own independently for the last 5 years. And I've been at a few salons, and the last few salons, how do I say this nicely?
Mm-hmm.
They always kind of want to control you. Even though you're booth rent, they still want to kind of control you.
Yes.
And I just got to that point in my life where I wanted to be in control of my business. I wanted to run the things I wanted to run the way I wanted to run them. I've been working with a business coach this last, probably since March or April, Britt Seva, and she's really opened my eyes. Lots of light bulb moments.
Yeah, exactly. I love Britt. So Britt, if you're listening, hey, I love you. Yeah, no, she's really great. And with Thriver Society, I think it's one definite thing that you would recommend too, that people should join if they do anything in their lives for their business. That's the one thing that's worth the investment.
Yes, it definitely. It has, oh my gosh, it was almost shortly after I started doing all the modules that she helps us do. It was almost instant. And now that I am in a new location, I'm using those same techniques that were working for me in my other city. Now I'm putting them to the test as well here. And I've already gotten 5 new clients since I've been here. Wow. So it does work. It really does work. And she's so worth the money. So,
and it does make a difference. And like anything, it doesn't happen overnight. And especially being in a new city, starting out all over again, right? Because some clients may follow you and some, they're just, I really love your work, but you're just too far.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's almost like starting everything again. And now a new area, did you have to like adjust your price list? Did you keep the same price list? Do you do it differently because now you're in a kind of a different location?
Yeah. So in August, I raised my prices. I hadn't had a price increase for 3 years. And that's one of the, Britt Seva's Thriver Society's modules was raising your prices. And she shows you how to do it. You know, it's based off of the medium income for your area. So I actually had just raised them in August. So I kept those when I moved here. And with that, I feel like I'm getting a better clientele or a higher end clientele. with Britt's Thriver Society, she teaches you how to market to your target market.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to have a bunch of high school or college kids because they're broke. They only come once a year and they're using their student loan money. I want that whole family. I want the professionals that are set in their career and they have that income that can support their getting their hair done every however many weeks they come in.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And you hit it right on the head. You actually need to know, and this is what a lot of hairstylists don't know, is you have to really define what your avatar looks like. So your avatar is, what type of client is this? Is this person 35 to 50? They make $50,000 a year. They like this type of service. So then when you're really catering to those, because people are like, well, I do everyone. Well, that's fine. But when you do everyone, because I don't believe that hairstylists should discount themselves. Because as soon as you do, you're saying whatever I'm already charging, I'm not worth. So I'll just give you a discount. You're far better giving a free service than you are giving a discounted service. Like say if somebody comes on a regular basis all the time, maybe you do aesthetics there, you offer brow waxing or something. You could say, okay, you've been coming a long time. I'd like to introduce you to, have a free brow wax just to say thank you. Well, the good way with that is when they come back, they're like, hey, I want to book my brows as well. So even though you're giving something away for free, it could be an ongoing, or it could be, if you don't do any aesthetics, it could be a deep treatment or something like that. That's a benefit for them that you would normally charge, because unfortunately, a lot of us being hairstylists, we don't charge for a lot of stuff that we should. And if you list everything, it's like, well, they really need a deep conditioner. They really need the Olaplex. They really need this, but people don't charge. And then so at the end, then people are like, well, it only costs, well, why are my costs going up? It's because we're giving so much away for free. You know what I mean?
Huge light bulb moment, huge light bulb. Because that's exactly what I was doing, because all the other salons that I was renting a booth from, they wanted me to keep my prices lower. And I was like, okay, I'll just, not charge you for your brow wax today or whatever. And then when you put down on paper and you look at it and like see how much money you're giving away to people, it's a huge like, oh my God, why am I doing this? And I'm the breadwinner of my family. So for me, when I raised my prices in August, it was all my business income, all my personal, or all my business expenses, all my personal expenses. And there's times where I wasn't even paying myself. And so for me, being the breadwinner, I had to step back and look and say, look, I have to take care of my family. I have a business to run. It's nothing personal. This is just how I have to run my business.
Exactly. And they can't expect that, what people, hairstylists charged 20 years ago is what they pay now. And you're right. You have to look, you have to get that eye-opening moment that says, this is what I need to pay every month. So this is what I need to cover. And I know a lot in groups, and you've probably seen in groups, people are like, what do you charge for this? What do you charge for that? But really, I think it depends. Like what I charge and what you charge should be two different things, because my experience is different than your experience. My location is different than your location. What I have to pay for overhead may be different than what you pay for overhead. So you can't say, well, I charge this much for a haircut, I charge $5 for a haircut, or I charge $1,500 for a haircut. You know what I mean? There's such a wide range that's the biggest question. And I think people really should stop asking what other people charge and know what you need to cover your expenses, plus what education you do. Because if somebody has education, they're just out of school, and somebody has education and they've gone to Vidal Sassoon's and they've kept up all the stuff and they're celebrity stylist and they're this and they're that, their pricing is going to be different because their clientele is going to be different.
Exactly.
And that's probably always the toughest thing. And I think, so did your clients react when you changed your prices? Because it's been 3 years.
Yeah, it has been 3 years. I did have a few that were like, okay, that's not in my budget. Me, because I do love my clients, I tried to work with them. So if they were down for, let's say, a full highlight, but it wasn't in their budget, I would say, okay, this is what I can do. We can do a partial highlight. This is how much it will cost. And I would say probably 9 out of 10 times they were like, oh my God, that's awesome. Let's do that. And so, and when you do want to work with your clients, because you do want them to have great hair, and they have been, I've had some that are still with me since cosmetology school. And so you do want to take care of them. And so I started doing a referral program where if they refer a friend, they get $10 off their next service, and that new client gets a $10 off as well. So it's a win-win for both. And so, yeah, you really have to make them, like, how do I say this?
It's okay, just say it.
Yeah, you have to not necessarily cater to them, but also show them that you do care about them, and you aren't in it just to make a ton of money from them, but you also want to support yourself too.
Exactly. And I think clients need to know that, yes, we do have expenses. Yes, we do love doing hair, but yes, we can't do it for free.
Exactly. Yep.
You know what I mean? And I think that should go for friends. It should go because they should invest in you as a business, and not just because you do it. Then, hey, come over to my place Friday night, bring a bottle of wine, and you can just cut my hair or do my highlights.
I my family, so my own family doesn't even get a discount.
No, and it's a business. It's a business. Well, I don't charge my mom. Ooh, mean. No, but there's a lot of things, and saying you hit on another point where a referral program, I think, is one of those things that's underrated that people don't use, that can really help kind of build your business and get you new clients, and also they get the perks as well. Another option is, instead of the dollar amount, you could offer a percentage. So say you give 10% for every time. As soon as they give you 10 people, they have 100% of what their normal service is. And that's another way of doing it too. So if they I need a haircut, okay, you get 10% every time you bring somebody in. As soon as you have 10 of those, you get a free one.
Perfect. Yeah.
And that's an easier way to do it too. Then you don't have to keep track of money. But then, as I say, or they could put it towards another service. Some people use it for product or service, that sort of thing as well. But I think it's tough, number one, like having a salon, but even having a salon suite, but maybe even being female and being a female entrepreneur. So have you found that's affected you at all with your friends, family, or anything, or are they very supportive?
I have always, my whole life, whether I was a youngster to even just recently before I moved to my new location, where I've had teachers and coworkers and friends that said, you're never going to amount to anything. I was probably, my daughter would have been 3 when I started cosmetology school. Okay. So when she was probably 2, I had one of those aha moments where I wanted something for my life. And so my philosophy is failure is not an option. So what do I need to do to make my goals? Where do I want to be in 5 to 10 years? And what do I need to do that? And so for me, it was even though I had those people in my life in the past saying that you're never going to amount to anything, you're not good enough, all those little, voices, I had to prove them wrong. And for me to be a hairstylist after 11 years, I've been supporting my family for 11 years on my income. Yeah, we had hard times and tough times where I was slow and I wasn't making money or whatever, but we got through it. And you just have to keep at it. You have to keep telling yourself you are good enough. And those bullies or people that are telling you whatever they're telling you, they're not true. You are in control of your own life. So that's why I did what I did is I am in control of my business. I'm in control of my life. So
exactly. And I think it happens to the majority of us, even myself. I work for somebody. I was the major breadwinner in that salon. So when I wanted to leave, do my own thing, they're like, you're never going to make it. I made you. Now this person, their shop is closed. And I became a celebrity hairstylist. So So you can't, but you're always going to get that. You're always going to get, even friends, family sometimes do it, that people, they're almost jealous. I don't know if it's jealous of your success, but they don't want to do what you did to get there. Like you put 11 years in to get where you are now. But I think some people will put you down in order to bring themselves up, but instead of helping each other. And that's why with a lot of these hairstylist communities and a lot of these groups, which you have one we'll talk about a little bit later, that, all you see is somebody posts their work and then somebody says, oh, I could have did better. Oh, how do you know that wasn't the best thing that person has ever done? And they're feeling like great about themselves because they're like, wow, I finally conquered this. And all somebody says is, oh, or makes some kind of rude comment or, something like that. I don't post a lot of my own work because I don't need to. I don't need the judgment. I don't need, not that it matters whether people like my work or whether they don't. Obviously, it's with the client. As long as you make the client, like you said, feel beautiful, be empowered, that sort of thing. That's our job, because we're not only hairstylists, we're also psychologists. We're also a free bartender. We're also a free, we're cheaper than a shrink. We're so many things that we do for people that a lot of people don't realize. And that's why within our community too, it's about having harmony in our community and our group. So what we'll do is, now you have a group on Facebook?
I do, yes.
Yeah.
It's awesome ideas for hairstylists to help build their business. Mm-hmm. When I first started it, the reason why I did was because there is no, a lot of times there's people that knock you down, and you want that support system of, okay, I'm slow, what can I do? And so there's so many different ideas on that group. And there's so many different, I can't remember what the last count was for members, but everybody posts their stuff. Then I've posted, hey, I just made this. I'm posting it on my social media. This is my reaction that I got to it. Mm-hmm. And I've just recently learned how to do a lot of that social media using the Thriver Society and what to post, when to post, and the engagement and how to engage with your clients or your potential clients. And so I just love to share that with other stylists, because there isn't that fallback of somebody saying, oh, don't do that, that's never going to work. But if somebody sees an idea that I post or somebody else posts, then, and they use it and they get really good feedback from it, or they get a new client from it, that just is awesome. And that's what we should be doing. It should be lifting people up, not tearing them down and making them feel super small. And
exactly. And I think that's the toughest thing is like social media, like you say, what to post, when to post, or say, hey, can people help me, and give like some constructive. So can people just join your group and then they kind of just post? What's the regular kind of content you have? Number one, what's the address? So we know you're on Facebook. So is it facebook.com/ and then what's the name after that?
Well, let me put it up real quick.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome ideas for hairstylists to help and grow their business. So,
that's the whole title? Wow. Yes. Okay. Well, you can't forget that one, but we'll make sure we have it at the bottom of this video here. So as I say, with the Hairstylist Empowerment Podcast, we do an auto recording, plus we do a video recording as well. So with this, you'll see it online on 10 different platforms, plus it's on Siri, soon to be on Google Home, and 2 other car radio stations, or you can visit B-Rad Celebrity Hairstylist on not Facebook, but you can on Facebook, but you can also do it on the YouTube, and I'm there. Plus we have the Hairstylist Empowerment Podcast also on Facebook as well. So with your group, so is it pretty easy to join? Are there any questions you have to answer, or you can just join? And
yeah, the only question is if it'll say, are you a hairstylist? And, read the rules and be nice to everybody and that thing. So, when I first started it, we were getting kind of weird people trying to join that weren't hairstylists. And so we do screen it a little bit. I have a couple other admins, and so sometimes it takes a day just to, get you approved because we're all, busy working and
Of course, and you have to have people there, and you're one person, and you can't catch
yeah,
everything. If you're working behind the chair, you don't have time to be on your group all day long to see what gets,
exactly.
what get
Yep.
posted and that kind of stuff. So when you started the group, did you ever think it would grow to the number it is now?
No, I didn't,
No.
honestly. And when I first started, I just added all the hairstylists that I was friends with on Facebook, and it just slowly grew from there. Now it has just over 3,000 members, so that's super cool.
Wow. So when did you start that group?
Gosh, probably a couple years ago.
Okay.
So not like anything recent.
No, but your growth is really good, because I think the toughest thing is not only attracting, but it's also keeping. So it's almost like clients. You have to have content that people want to see in order for them to stay. So obviously, with the over 3,000 people you have, they want to stay for the content that you're showing.
Yes,
right?
exactly. Yep.
Or obviously, it would have probably dwindled down to, am I the only one here? type of thing as well. But we also talked about something too that's kind of near and dear to your heart. So I'll kind of let you tell our audience a little bit about that. We'll see if people too can relate. So make sure if you're listening and this has impact on you, you can always comment below this video or send in your comments to the station as well.
Yeah. So I have a family member that transitioned, and it's very close to my heart just because of that. She came up to me and was like, how do I get my hair to grow? And so I walked her through each step. Okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. It's not going to happen overnight. And now her hair is down the middle of her back. And it took us 5 years to get there, but we got there. And so now that I am in my salon suite, I feel like I can actually help more people that are in the same situation. When I was in Ames, I had a few clients, and hopefully they'll follow me when they're ready and everything. And so,
because I think that must be the tough thing too, is number one, going into a salon and then, feeling not comfortable.
Yep. Yeah. And having that connection, my few clients that I had, they would tell me their story, and it would just break my heart because I just don't understand how people can be that mean or whatever, and so now that I am in a salon suite, it can be more personal, and I can help them along, because we are somebody that in someone's life, if they're going through a bad time or need just that person to listen to, we can help them. And so I feel like for me as a stylist, I can now do that even more, because there are people out there that have, their own opinions, and that's totally cool, and they may not agree with it, but there's no reason why a client that wants to come get their hair done should have to feel secluded or bad because of what they're doing. So
exactly. And I think we've all felt about being an outcast or not fitting in, or what I mean, but I don't think you're always meant to. Why? There's a saying too, which I also believe, why fit in when you're meant to stand out, right?
Exactly.
And we're always trying to fit in, but we all have our own unique personalities. And I think too, with you having your independent suite, is that it allows you now to have an environment where people can feel safe, feel comfortable. You can help them through their transition of whichever way they're going. And then it's done in a nice, personal manner that you have their best interest. You're not there to judge. You're not there to, and that's one thing as hairstylists, I think that because we're about the person, we should be the last person to comment, to make judgment, to do any of that stuff, because I know here in Toronto, Canada, we have one of the biggest pride parades there are in the world. We have thousands and thousands of people that come, you know what I mean? And I think people are people first, labels are second, right? Because we're not born with a label. It's a label that society gives you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And we only have labels because people say you have to have one.
Yep.
You can't be
And
just Michelle. I can't be just Brad, but it has to be something else on there with it.
Exactly. Yep. And when I told my sister, I said, you know what? I may not understand it at first, but by golly, you're going to have the best dang hair in the family. So
yeah, well, look how long it is. Holy cow.
I know. It's super cool.
Yeah. So, and it's nice going through that transition because like you say, we're shrinks, we're this, we're that. And that's the thing with going through somebody's journey. You can understand it now when you get another client who's on that journey, and you already understand because it's close to home for you, where you're there and you really don't have an idea of what to ask, what to say, how to address, like all that kind of stuff, and then it's just weird and uncomfortable. But at least with your shop, then you can promote as, you know, a friendly, safe environment that they can go, that you can come and see me. You don't have to worry about, you can just be yourself, whoever that is.
Yep, exactly. And you should be able to just be yourself and live your life the way you want to. So, yep.
And exactly, and I think that's the one is big things I think we deal with too, even with hairstylists, even in their own communities. I know we're hitting on a lot of stuff today, but it's just all coming out. I don't know where it's coming from. It must be you. You're just bringing it all, out. But but we deal with bullies. We deal with feeling like we're an outcast. We feel that we're not invited to sometimes the groups that are supposed to be inclusive aren't.
Yep.
So if you're not the exact what we're looking for, then, you know, okay, it's nice seeing you, you know, it's, But there are a lot of great people in the hair community. There are a lot of people in the beauty world. There are a lot of people that do, you know, stand up for rights, that are there, that are loving, that are accepting, that are, you know, so I'd say, you know, a shout out, scissors salute to those, you know, people who do really care about other people. Because we all came from somewhere, and we all need to, you know, we all need to connect. We all need to be part of something greater, I think, in order to have change. You know,
exactly. Yep.
So the ideas. Sorry, my brain. I'm doing the show. It's like, I know a lot of people think, wow, this guy's great, but like my last episode, I had a migraine. This one I have don't feel sorry for me. But to say, the show must go on, and I think there's always a story that needs to be told. And there's wonderful people here like Michelle, who has a great story, who's done it, who is an entrepreneur, who can probably help other people. Look what she's doing now with her awesome ideas for hairstylists, you know, as well, to help you with marketing, to help you with all that kind of stuff. So if you're not already on her group, I suggest you join. She said it takes about a day, but somebody will get to you and get you into the group. Don't be afraid to like share your ideas, because maybe you can help someone. If she posts her thing and I post my thing, we're in two totally different locations. So somebody can say, I saw that ad somewhere. It's about taking that idea and kind of branding it and making it your own, correct?
Exactly. Yep. Oh yeah, definitely.
So it's nicer to be part of something, and as I say, obviously they have to scan. So, you know, with good reason, because as I say, with having groups, you want to know who's in there. You want to make sure somebody isn't being nasty about somebody else's work, that people are contributing and being active members in the group as well, sort of thing. So when you were growing up, what made you want to become a hairstylist?
Actually, it's kind of a funny story. So when I graduated high school, I went for computer programming.
Oh, because it's along the same lines.
Exactly. Yep.
Like, not at all.
It was, you know, my senior year, the counselor was like, "What are you going to do?" Well, I don't know. You know, like, I have no idea. And so at the time, I liked video games and computer and technology, and so I went to a local community college, and I did about maybe a year or so there, and decided, oh, this is not what I want. I can't see myself sitting at a computer all day long. And so I took some time off, and I actually then had my daughter a couple years later, and I was working at a local restaurant waiting tables, and with the trays and everything, your shoulder hurts and all that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do something. Like, this is great, but I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. And one of the girls that I worked with, I was always giving her like neck massages because of our neck and stuff. Yeah. And she was like, you need to do massage therapy. You would be so good at this. And so one day I went to the school and signed up, and the lady at the office was like, well, our massage therapy class is full, but we're opening another hairstylist class. It's only going to be about 10 of you. Would you be interested? And I'm like, no, like I know nothing about hair. I use a box color, and my mom always cut my hair for me. So I have nothing. And the first time I did someone's hair, I was hooked. I thought I was going to get sick, but I was hooked.
Yes.
And so, and now 11 years, and I love it. I can still be a mom, but I can have a career, and I can, help people out and make them feel and look beautiful. So yeah, it's been awesome.
Exactly. So do you remember the very first client at school you ever did?
I do. And she still comes to me, Jessica.
Oh, really?
Yep. She was my model for a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so it's crazy. And I used to work with her at the restaurant. So
so you already knew her. Yeah.
Yep. So it's awesome.
No, I guess when we all think back and it's like, okay, who was that first person we had? Who was that people that followed us? Obviously, well, most times in school, it's a lot of older clientele. Usually, I'm not sure with your hairdressing schools, but up here, we have a lot of young kids and older clientele normally that come in. And when you kind of think back of those days and just going through. So now, what about when your child now is almost 15, so you've been doing hair 11. So how did you kind of think to balance that when, having a hair career and then also being a mom as well?
Yeah. So, the first probably 3 to 4 years, I worked nights and I worked weekends, and I didn't necessarily have that family life balance. Okay. I was very lucky to have a husband that supported me in everything. And so we actually kind of switched roles. And so he stayed home and took care of our daughter, and I worked and went to school. And then once I was out of school, we kind of talked about him going back to work, but that's when the economy kind of went not so fun. And so it was better to have one of us stay home and take care of her than putting her through daycare and spend thousands of dollars. And so, and it just worked out. Hey, I'm very spoiled. I have a husband that cooks and cleans and takes care of my daughter. I come home, the house is clean, I have food on the table. So I'm pretty spoiled.
Wow. You're going to have a list after this show of people messaging you to lend them out. He'll have to write his own book and say, this is how to have a successful, happy marriage.
Yes. So, so it just worked really well. And, over the course of, over 11 years, last year was my first year where I reached 100,000 in sales. And that was a huge goal and a huge, yay.
Yes.
So, I just keep progressively growing. This year, I'm on track to making my goal. Even though I have changed locations, I'm still on track, which is awesome. And so my biggest thing was the support system. My husband and now my almost 15-year-old mom, or honey, just go do it. Well, do what makes you happy. And, everything will fall into place. If you have faith, then you just keep working really hard and not give up. So.
And I think that's what it is. A lot of it's perseverance. A lot of it's faith. A lot of it is, just having that drive, because it doesn't always just come to you without any effort.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's not like you woke up one day, I'm going to be a fabulous hairstylist and I'm going to make tons of money and do nothing because I'm so wonderful. People will just flock to me.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Sort of thing. So with the Hairstylist Empowerment Podcast, we always like our guests to impart some wisdom. So what would be some advice, some wisdom, or a story you would like to share with our audience about empowerment? To be
Um,
empowerment, your empowerment, whatever kind of, just to kind of inspire, because you never know what to say. Best thing is not to think about it, and you just kind of share whatever, because you never know, and somebody will say, that Michelle, that's exactly what I needed to hear.
yeah.
Like,
And I was actually thinking about this morning on my way to work. And honestly, it's kind of a number of things. Your support system, even if it's just a best friend that you can bounce ideas off of, or somebody that can tell you, yes, Michelle, or yes, whoever, you are on the right track, and keep going, and don't let anything discourage you. And education is huge. Like, I take so many classes every year, no matter if I need the con ed or not. I feel like that sets me apart a little bit, keeps me up to date, to where if somebody comes in and asks for a specific color, I can say, yes, I know how to do that. And just keep working. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your dreams. And if you are able to work with something such as the Thriver Society, I know I keep talking about Britt, but she has helped me so much that I can do what I want to do, and I can reach my goals because I have her as a support as well. And all the things that she's taught me just in this last however many months that I've been doing it have been light bulb moments. Like, even just with social media, like learning how to take pictures and what to post and how to post and all that stuff. Like, that wasn't like that, in 2007 when I first started doing hair. I wasn't on Facebook in 2007. And so to learn little things like that and keep growing as a stylist, as a person even, is just huge. You got to just keep going.
But you're exactly right. You can't always just be a good hairstylist anymore, or even a great hairstylist. You have to be a salon owner. You have to be a photographer. You have to be a social media expert. You have to be, a blogger. You have to be, everything. So it's not just like it used to be anymore, because now a lot of people can see other people's, work online. And because there's so many different platforms now, it's tough just to be a good stylist. And education really is the key, which I'd like to invite you. I don't know if you've heard, we're doing the Flip Your Wig Summit at Sea. So it's October 12th to 19th, where we're going to be, on the high seas. So you can go to facebook.com/Summit at Sea. Check it out. And then we're going to have everybody, the community of people, for 7 nights, 8 days. It's going to be totally incredible. And if you want to check, yeah, and I'd love to see you actually in person. See, that's a nice thing that I like about these events, is that now everybody that we see in the communities online, we can actually see in person. So
Exactly.
it's amazing. It's amazing, because right now we have I don't want to go on to, because people are like, oh, there's a sales pitch. It's not a sales pitch. It's amazing at what it is. We've got everybody really good deals. We have balcony cabins where you get your gratuities paid, you get your port taxes, government taxes, you get a free bottle of wine, you get a meal for two at Jamie Oliver's Italian. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that we have just to get everybody in. Plus there's going to be tons of amazing education. So we're really kind of leveling it up, where it's going to take you from where you are now, but it'll show you how to do all the social media stuff. It'll show you how to be a celebrity stylist. It'll show you how to get a star-studded clientele. You know what I mean? And we have the top professional educators in their field. So for people that want to learn and they want something more than just what's out there, this is a great way to be in a community, be part of it. Who knows, maybe we'll even have you speak.
Awesome. That would be super cool.
Yeah, so it's a nice way for people to kind of get out there, share their stories. And that's one thing I always love from this, is that whenever you do an event like this, the memories and the friendships that you get from it, they last literally a lifetime. Because, and two, you bond so much more. Say even if you have your awesome ideas for hairstylist group, if they came on, some of those, they actually get to meet you. It's like, wow, it's Michelle Golden. And then now you actually get to see the people that are in your group.
Yeah.
Right. Which is even so much better. And the same with having the story as well that's near to your heart. Let's say one thing I did do is Hairstylist of Hope, same facebook.com//Hairstylist of Hope, where it is sensitivity training for people transitioning and us as hairstylists, what we can do. But it's also the other things as well, because we deal with people on so many levels. I think that's one thing that they don't teach in school. Because I think when you went to school, they didn't teach you some of the things you know now. It wasn't part of your curriculum that says, we're going to help you with a gender identity and how to deal with that, and how to, if you get a client that, and I don't like the word different, because nobody's really different. They're just themselves. Right. Right. Because by saying different, it means they don't fit into whatever the norm is. But who's to say what that norm is, sort of thing. Well, I could talk to you like forever, and I'm sure we're going to talk again and again, because you're so easy to talk to, and that's what it is. You have so much wisdom. I just love your story, but we'll have you on again. So if you love Michelle, make sure to write in, make sure to comment, whatever platform you kind of see this on, whether you see it on YouTube, whether you see it on Facebook, whether you see it on the many different platforms that you listen to. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'm sure Michelle would love to hear some feedback, and her tribe would love to hear this too. So her family, and she probably can't wait until this airs.
I know, I'm so excited.
And you'll be like, oh, it's me. And then and then you'll be like, oh yes. I am a celebrity. So I want to say thank you, Michelle, for joining us today.
Thank you.
And so I thank you all for listening. I welcome you to stay tuned, subscribe, like, share, and we'll see you next time.